Under the topic of culture and leadership, explain your views on the use of culture in making decisions as a member of council. The question again is, explain your views on the use of culture in making decisions as a member of council.
For over 5 years, and everything that I do is based on culture. And every program that I've started, every aspect of work is based on our culture and our treaty and keeping our communities together. So when I was a manager at NRD for quite some time, I looked at how we respected our resources, how we were giving back, and based our philosophy of our regulations and restoring the land, and importantly keeping the health of our fish and wildlife resources, starting programs like the river honoring or the place names that we use today, restoring our bison hunt. All those decisions, everything of those things that they worked on and continue to work on are based in our culture. And so when I look at the council chambers and I look at our chiefs behind us on the wall and I look at the councils that sat before us and think of the legacy that they left us and the work that I need to do to continue that on and make sure that our people are here in perpetuity, forever. And so all of that, giving it back, sharing, trying to be a role model for our communities, and defending our lands, our people, from any outside influence that might harm us. Those are all things that I love and try to base on culture. I remember when our culture committee started. We started in the Ronan school system. And it went from there to a culture committee that would combine both, all three tribes together, and then it separated out. But going to those first elders meetings in St. Ignatius in particular, and then up in Elmo, and listening to all of the elders in those first meetings, and John Yarley was our main administrator, but listening to our elders talk about sharing and the importance of family and the importance of giving back, those are never left me. And I just really appreciate that. Having time to go out with the elders to look at sites and understand the landscape and the history and the meaning of the language were really important for me, and I base all my decisions upon that. Lemlers.
Would you like me to read the question again?
If you would please, thank you.
Absolutely. Under the topic of culture and leadership, sorry, this is going to be. I think that's working a little better. Under the topic of culture and leadership, explain your views on the use of culture in making decisions as a member of council.
Culture is who we are. It's our identity. I was fortunate enough to be raised in a home of culture, tradition, spirituality, and understanding the importance of all the cultures that we have to exist within here on the Flathead Indian Reservation. You have the Salish, Kalispel, Kasanka, Upper Pend Oreille. But also we have to understand there's a culture of the existence of the people that we have to live with. And I think that all embellished together in being raised on the Flathead Indian Reservation, going to public schools, being able to learn the language in the Arley school system, where I pretty much grew up in Arley by our grandmother's place. At the same time, being raised to culturally induce myself to become more culturally oriented, to understanding the language, understanding the importance of the land, the waters, and how it all exists within ourselves, within our families, going fishing, hunting, doing all these sacred things. They're all a part of our identity, as I say. I always go back to identity as our culture. Growing up and going to the sweat lodge, which was at our grandmother's house in Dirty Corner, that our dad had built. Having people come there during the times when we had, dances, spiritual things, people needing help, opening our home. Those identified ourselves as being that much in touch with the culture. The decisions I make, even in my own family, all depend on that culture, and to always identify it and to go back to it.
Thank you. We are going to our lead and the question number 4. It's not question 4. District 4.
Oh my God, it is number 4. Polson.
That would be Polson.
Polson.
And what question number again?
4.
Question 4.
4 and 4.
And we're going Challenger first.
It's District 4, question 4.
We have a different list. I'm confused too, so we're all in this together. So we're ready? Question number 4, which is, describe your approach to transparency and accountability to the membership.
Can you hear me now? There we go. I think that transparency and accountability are two different issues. I think transparency on one hand is the tribal council really being open about what is being talked about in council meetings. I know that there are executive sessions and you have to protect those when somebody comes in and they have a personal issue that they don't want on the record. And so those you have to respect. And I know that there are executive sessions that deal with legal issues that would affect the tribe. And so those are really important. But there's some issues that, the budget, just basic things that every tribal member should know. And I believe that sometimes it's not, the membership doesn't know about those things. I know that there's been a couple actions taken by the council that still hasn't been out there. I actually specifically asked the legal department for a copy of a gaming compact, and I was told that it would be confusing to the membership to know. I think every tribal member should know what's going on with our tribal government. And accountability means that, in my opinion, that there's people in positions that are below the council that they should be giving all of the information that the council needs. Council makes really hard decisions every day and dealing with different issues. And if they don't have all of the information to make those decisions, that's not fair to the tribal government. And those people at that level that should be giving that information to the council, they should be held accountable to make sure that the council has all the information they need to make decisions. So I think that those are my two differences of what transparency and accountability are. I think they're important, and I think that those are things that really need to be brought out and carried through. Thanks. Oh, and my name is Jamie Pluff from the Polson District.
So when I started on council, it was the tail end of COVID, and we had just started having in-person meetings again. And before I got on council, the previous council had instituted an executive team. And so the structure had changed without input from the departments. The departments were told this is what's going to happen and this is how it's going to be. Because I worked in one of those departments and we had those meetings, and it was confusing and surprising to everyone. We were all asking, well, how is this going to work? And we were asked for our input. There were these meetings, but it was still really confusing for a lot of people in the organization and outside of the organization. So since we've been on council, we have instituted regular meetings with department heads, so we can hear from departments directly about what is going on in each department. And the tribal council has also asked for work plans from each department. What is their plan for the year? How are they planning to spend their money? What are they planning to do? And so there's greater communication, and I'm not trying to butter you up, Rob, but we have a communications officer who is excellent, who is out in the community, who is doing these marvelous videos about the organization and what's going on within the tribe. And we also have a new and revamped website. That was a huge effort. So I think the tribe is always trying to figure out ways to be more transparent with the membership, because the membership does need to know what's going on. And when I first got on council, things were confusing because we weren't hearing from departments. And people were coming up and asking me questions, and I would say, I have not heard that. I don't know. I have to find out. And it shouldn't be that way. There has to be really clear communication all around throughout the tribe within each department. And I feel like the current council has really done a good job of that, of revamping the website, of hiring a communications officer who is really proactive, meeting with the departments and asking for their input, and asking for greater accountability with work plans. And just on a personal level, every time I go on a trip or do anything, I give a detailed trip report about what I do and how it benefits CSKT. Because at the end of the day, everything we do has to be in service to everyone else. Lamlepsh.
District 5, and I just want to say that was my mistake, Jamie. You were correct. I was wrong. District 5 is now Ronan.
Ronan?
Correct? Okay, we made a switch permanently.
Yes.
We write in the rule book as we go.
I wrote it.
Good thing I'm not on council.
Right. Got to be fluid
And
and
question 2. Doing great now. Challenger goes first. Challenger, Ronan, ready for the question. What are your views on language revitalization?
I am Ron Couture. Our language revitalization, I think, is very strong on both ends of the reservation. The Salish language has their apprenticeship program. The Kootenays have their language apprenticeship program going. I wish there were more people that could be in that program at each year. I know they hire every couple years, I think. I wish there was more people in it. I think both programs are very, very strong. Children coming out of Inkusum, it's amazing what those kids, how they can talk Salish, the songs, the language. I wish we had more opportunity for us to do it. I grew up with it. My dad was fluent in it. And when people would come over, Aunt Helen would come over, they would sit at the table and they would talk Kootenai all day long, drink coffee all day long. I never knew what they were talking about. I'm sure they were always laughing about me. But I didn't know what they were saying. But again, I really think our programs that we have going, even out of SKC, the language coming out of there is very strong. There's a lot of people interested in it. I just wish we all had more opportunity to get into the programs and learn more. That's all I got with that. Thank you.
I can repeat the question if you like. The question is, sorry. What are your views on language revitalization?
Is it on? My view on language revitalization is something so critically important to us as a tribe, as beings, to know who we are, where we come from, and to understand the language. And, you know, I had an opportunity today to be down with the elders, and I know I could tell today something, they were feeling a little bad about one of the elders program, but they talked about how what they bring to the table, and there's so many things that they do bring, but language is one of them. And to have our children and our families, and you see huge changes in families who have adopted that model of understanding and learning the language. I personally know songs from wakes. That's how I know the language, and my little bit of words that I do know. And it has changed me. I really believe that when you get a good understanding of that, it really does. I've seen changes in people that I never thought, you know, would happen, but boy, I don't know, it just brings them back to a whole different style of living and life, and they want to learn more about the culture and the history. And but it's so important that we continue with Inkusum and the language programs that we do have. But it's a very difficult language, but that's what is so unique about it. You know, you listen to, you know, your standard language, Spanish or English, you know, but Salish and Kootenai to me, is so difficult. But I'm even picking up the Kootenai part, because I remember when my mom, when I was really small, she'd take me to wakes in Elmo at the old Custata Hall, and we would sit around the wall and we would sing those songs, and they were beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. So today when I do go, I can actually sing those songs, but it really brings back a lot of history. I remember a lot of the older people when they sang and stuff, and it was very important for me as a tribal member to understand that.
Thank you, candidates, for that. So we're in District 3, correct?
Yep. Elmo.
Elmo. 3 and 3? Question 3. And 2 is the challenger first. Question is, as a member of council, what would you consider to be your top projects, and are any different than current efforts?
The top projects would have to be our culture. It would have to be our language. That's it's high on my priority list. Our language has to be out there. We have 2 very well-run language programs, but to me, we need more. It has to be there. Some say we're losing our identity. And if the language was in every program out here, I would feel very safe. But that's a high project to me, is our language. There are many more, but we are Indian. This is a reservation. We owe it to our ancestors that sacrificed to be here for us to be here today. What did they do for us? They sacrificed. That's why we exist today. With that, that language is very important. That language, that song, we have to do it for us. We have to give it to that Gen Z generation. You look at that, it's kind of scary. We look at the rate we're going today with our language, pretty slow. And that's a high project for me, would be our culture, our traditional ways, our language, our songs. Hoyas tachas.
Same question to the incumbent. I can repeat if you like. As a member of council, what would you consider to be your top projects and are any different than current efforts?
My name is the incumbent for Elmo. There are actually two projects that I would like to focus on, in addition to what my opponent says, because language is one of them, but one of them is the Elmo store. The community of Elmo has gone without services for too long, too many years. And now we have a path to move forward to get that done. The other is the establishment of our hot springs property. I've been on council for 12 years, and that's a project that we only talked about it. And we need to get a plan in place to try to develop it, because there were many, I recall when I first got on council, there were many elders that are no longer with us that explained the importance of that water to the people. And it's just really important that we start to use that water. That water is medicine. And so those are the two projects that I would like to focus on. Thank you.
Very good. District 1, Arlie. Question number 4. This is a repeat question, and it's to the incumbent. Describe your approach to transparency and accountability to the membership. Again, the question is, describe your approach to transparency and accountability to the membership.
Jim Alter, are you just How about now? Okay. Yeah, Jim Alter from Arley District. You're talking about transparency here, and it all means the same thing. We're all talking about the same thing. It's culture. It's culture, it's tradition, it's who we are as Indian people. And in my mind, to sit on this tribal council, to serve the people of our great nation, you have to have an Indian heart. You need to live the Indian way. You have to live your culture. You live your traditions every chance you get. I mean, I've never swayed from that. I've been here I moved back for good in 1991, and I've practiced my traditions, my culture, everything I can every day. Every day I get up, I go to work. I pray for a ride to work. I pray for my family at home. To me, it just really burns me to see that we're not living an Indian way every day of our lives. And everything we do to serve these people, we need to serve them with an Indian heart. And if we can do that, we'll live our culture, we'll live a long time. And I hear what all these guys are saying. It's all the same thing. It's our culture. It's how we got to live. It's how we got to maintain our Indian life. We got to maintain ourselves. We got to take care of our people in an Indian way, and we can make that happen. It's the way we'll save ourselves. It's the way we'll save our nation. Just live our heart, live our Indian heart, and we'll take care of that. So much.
I can repeat the question if you like.
Thanks, Rob.
Please describe your approach to transparency and accountability to the membership.
Okay. Why is that important? Why is transparency and accountability important? Because without it, there's a barrier between the council and the people that they serve. Transparency creates that visibility as a connect. Accountability creates a connection on so many levels. It's one of the fundamental responsibilities that I believe each individual councilman needs to have. It's one of the few things that an individual councilman can do by themselves. That communication, that transparency, that working with the people, explaining what's going on, taking the time to hold district meetings is critical if we're going to remove the barriers between the council and the people. We don't have a lot of people here tonight, and I want to thank each one of you for being here and to all the people that are tuning in Cyberland. But if we had more accountability and transparency with all of the issues that are going on that affect each one of our lives, we would have a lot more people here. There would be a lot more interaction that's going on. But how do you interact if you can't see what's going on? How do you express what's going on if councilmen are not accountable to you and are opening up that communication to you to do that? That's critical. I'm committed to having monthly district meetings in Arlee, and would invite the entire reservation. You don't have to be from Arlee to attend a district meeting down there, but I'm committing myself to having monthly district meetings. I'm also committing myself to reporting to you through the Charcusta, through social media, through whatever is available, about what my experiences are and what is going on. My visibility on council would be your visibility. The things that I see are the things that you should be able to see. The things that I hear are the things that you should be able to hear. So that's why I believe that's absolutely critical. Again, thank you all for being here, and thank you all in Cyberland for tuning in.
Hello. Apologize for kind of a hoarse voice. I'm getting over a cold. So we're now going to enter a very fun thing called rapid fire. You have a little 2-color card by you. Red is for no, green is for yes. You're all going to choose your response, yes or no. At the same time, you're only going to have 5 seconds. They should. Erica's requesting that you all stand. Forgot that part. Thanks, Erica. Red is yes. Red is yes? Oh, I'm sorry. Had it completely backward.
Green is yes.
Red's my favorite color. It is always
Red
yes
is
for
no.
me.
Green is go.
Okay. All right. One more time. Green is yes. Red is no. Okay. I should do the easiest one first, but no, I won't. Should we update the Flathead Nation flag? Is consensus possible? Council must work with Congress and the White House. Do you accept the duty to consult with all federal administrators? Do we have more that unites us than divides us? Are the Grizzlies better than the Bobcats? I watched carefully on that one. Thank you. Thank you. You can sit down now.
I'm looking for guys. Are we doing audience?
Audience questions?
We have no audience.
If not, I'm going to do impromptu. Just kidding. Back to that Grizzly Bobcat question.
Congratulations, everyone. We successfully made it through round one. This is a 4-round event, and the next topic for the second round is going to be community wellness. We're going to follow the same format of the random district, random question, followed by rapid fire, and then maybe an audience question.
I can hear it scratching. Got it.
So are we ready to? District, please. Reread. What would you like me to cover again? I set it up and I said we're about to start. Okay, if we're all ready, we're going to pick a district. District 3, which
Elmo.
is Elmo. Question number 2. Again, these are under community and wellness questions. And the incumbent will go first. Question 2? It flies out of my head so quickly. Question 2. Why do you think addiction and homelessness plague our communities, and how would you address it? Can you repeat that, please? Sure. Why do you think addiction and homelessness plague our communities, and how would you address it?
How do I, in homelessness, afflicts our community, address it? Correct?
Yes.
Well, that could be a real long answer. From what I've seen being on council, a lot of those issues start from the family itself, on how we raise our families. It's been really difficult for a lot of people in our tribal community, because of the drugs. Once the drugs infiltrated our reservation, we all seen how that took a toll on a lot of people. We're very fortunate that we've established a homelessness initiative to address a lot of those issues, and then we also have our program with the opioid response, which is we're at our early stages, but I'm seeing success. One of the larger successes that I've noticed is our collaboration with Never Alone Recovery and Salish Kootenai Housing and the tribes, and how they've established that community in the back of Pablo. And because I've talked to those people that participated in there, and I've seen them turn their lives around. I've seen their self-esteem and their self-confidence increase, and their lives change. And I think those are the kind of programs that we need to continue to support and make sure, especially now that we have another resource. It's the opioid settlement funds that we've recently acquired. That could play a huge role in getting these programs to start reaching out and getting a lot of our other, because we have a lot of tribal members out there that are have gone into business for themselves, they're consultants, and they want to work with tribal health and dealing with the mental health issues, mental health, opioid, and we need to start working with these folks so we can work together as a tribal community and address these issues, because it's affecting all of our families. All of our families. As I once mentioned, there was a time in council where every Monday morning we were sitting and talking about what family lost a loved one from an overdose. That was every Monday. And those were tough. Those are tough from a tribal leader perspective because...
Thank you, candidate. That's your time.
Okay, thank you.
Same question to the incumbent. Kind of a tricky question, how it's written, so I'll say it again. Why do you think addiction and homelessness plague our communities, and how would you address it?
Well, first of all, our tribe, our tribal government, the programs we have, I see our programs top-notch that we have today. And the question he just asked, he shouldn't even have to ask that question with the top-notch programs we have. But we start in the community. We go into the community, we know our grandparents, we know our parents, we know our aunties and uncles, we know what they went through and how they gave it to us so we can share it. By doing that, some grabbed onto it, some paid attention, and they went into the communities, and they did what they could. I'm living proof of it. I was a druggie, I was an alcoholic. The way of my people is why I am here today. I'm not knocking any program on this reservation, but our traditional and cultural ways, back then, they lived it. They may have had a few homeless people, a few sick people, but not as much as we have today. So it starts in a community, it starts with you as a parent to share it. And our programs today, I said they're top-notch and they're doing what they can do. But there are other approaches that I sat in, and these approaches weren't spoke about because we lack the knowledge of our cultural, our traditional ways. It worked back then, it worked on me, it worked on quite a bit of people in my community. How many of us are sober today? It worked. Thank you.
Four, Polson, correct?
Yes.
Question number 4. And you're going with the challenger. I got those right this time, right? Okay, good. Question 4 to the challenger. Wage disparity. Explain how you would address this issue for tribal members. Wage disparity. Oh, let's see. Is that a little better? Wage disparity. Explain how you would address that issue for tribal members. Wage disparity. W-A-G-E, wage.
Not weight.
Weight disparity?
Not weight disparity.
Working on it.
Wage disparity, I think, goes to, well, I think that our tribal organization has a certain, like wages, but I know that it was only recently that they tried to compare those wages to state wages and nationwide. And I still don't think that some positions reach that level of, parity, because we have some positions in our tribe that make way too much money, and we have other positions in our tribe that should be getting paid more, and a lot of times these are single parents or a two-parent household that just don't make a lot of money, and with the cost of living, it's just hard. It's hard out there, And so I think that because we're a sovereign government, I know that certain programs have to follow federal guidelines, but as a sovereign government, I think that we have the ability to raise some of those wages for our people so that they can make an honest living, make a decent living. Like I said, especially the single parents or the two-parent household that just doesn't make a lot of money. And so I think that that's a way that we, the tribal council can look at doing wage comparisons and make it more livable.
Same question.
So one of the things that we have talked about recently, actually Tom has brought this idea up a number of times, is creating our own minimum wage that's higher than the national minimum wage. And I think that's a really good idea, and that's something that I really support, is that our tribe should have a higher minimum wage than the federal minimum wage. Because we live in a really, we just live in a high cost area. And I think everyone I know is struggling in some way right now. And I also like the idea of going back to the way the tribes used to structure their pay. Because I have been a manager, I've managed budgets and different jobs that I've had, and I think, oh my gosh, it would be so hard as a budget manager to stay in budget when everybody's salary is recalculated all the time. Because someone's salary might go up a lot, and then you have to figure out, well, now how am I going to balance the budget and pay them this rate? And then what if that salary is calculated and it goes down? You can't take someone down. They have to stay where they are, and I think that's ultimately not very sustainable for the tribe. And so the way the tribe used to do their pay structure is in a step program, more like the federal government. And I think that's more predictable, and I think that's more fair. And then you know what you're going to do. You know how your salary is going to grow, and you know what your top is, how much you can make at the very top. And also, one of the things that I would really like our tribe to focus on is apprenticeships and internships, because that's how you create upward mobility. You give people the skills that they need to move up. And so a lot of those high-paying jobs, they need apprenticeship programs, so you learn what that job is and you open the door. So I was so fortunate. Everybody deserves an opportunity to grow in their job. So more workforce training, so people have upward mobility. But when I was in college, Kevin Howlett, who was the education department head, had a career tracks program. And so tribal member college and high school kids could get experience in a job. And that's actually what made me decide to be a teacher, because I thought I wanted to be a social worker, and I worked there for a summer, and I thought, I cannot do this. This is a really hard job. It requires a special person to do this. But I had an opportunity to redirect my career because I had an internship opportunity. So more internship opportunities. Love lunch.
Thank you, Candace. District 5. Ronan. Question number 1. Incumbent. No, not the flag. Okay. How do we protect the well-being of our drug-affected children? How do we protect the well-being of our drug-affected children?
I know. One more time.
My channel's on. My channel's on. How do we protect the well-being of our drug-affected children?
The being of our drug-affected children. First of all, we don't allow them to get drug-infected. And it starts with the family. And I believe that if our family unit stays strong, then we don't have this issue. But right now, the cost of any drug-affected baby that goes to NICU or any of those other special helps, it's very costly. But it's something that we can't not take care of. Having a special needs child grandchild myself, I know what it takes. It takes a lot. And then it's like through the school systems, through everything that that child does, there is, it's difficult. It's difficult every step of the way. But I think what we do is we work closely with them, work with families to make sure that they understand the importance of making sure that child has the care that it needs in order to grow up and be a successful adult. And so I think making sure that we're with them through the school system, and I try to do that, me and Tom try to get our little guy through the, to make sure that every day he's happy when he goes to that school, and make sure he's fed, make sure he has all the stuff that he needs. And to me, that makes for a happy little guy that's bouncing into the school, and then you hear that his time in school is also special. So, but there is so much when it comes to an addicted child, and I think what we try to do is make sure that parents that if we know parents are using, we need to do something before it gets too serious. I mean, right now, sometimes you see moms who are out there, maybe alcohol or whatever. We need to stop it. And I know the courts try to do whatever they can, and I know there's laws, and it's hard to to do something like that, but it's important that we let them know and educate them know that children with birth defects or with alcohol and drugs in their system is not the way to go, and so we need to do whatever we can to try to educate those families. And then grandparents, I know they're always there to step in and try to take over and help, but it just can't be one person. It has to be a family unit that comes together and helps those individuals that have children with disabilities affected from alcohol and drugs. Thank you.
We're on a channel. The way this works is only one of these can be on at a time, and it'll continually fade out, so please ask me to repeat if it breaks up. I wanted the mic. Hold on, we got a solution.
At the last event, we had some microphones stolen out of here. There were rappers at that event, so someone got a good microphone. That's why. Yeah.
I'd like to personally address them when you find them.
Okay.
The question again, how do we protect the well-being of our drug-affected children?
To even start to protect our drug-affected children, we all need to get together with the parents who are using drugs and alcohol. They need to know that they are cared for, they're welcomed. We all need to step up and help them. That, I feel, would help stop, well, maybe not stop, but slow down the ones that are being born to drugs. And the ones that are already in the homes, somehow they're getting affected by it, whether it's ingested or taken or just being around it. But those parents in those homes need to know that there is help out there for them. I feel a lot of those parents are scared to step up and ask for help because they don't want to be looked down upon because they use drugs. They need to know that there are people they can talk to, places they can go to, that they can get help. And hopefully that would slow down all the drug use and all the deaths that are coming from these drugs. You know, alcohol's been here forever. The drugs are getting more and more dangerous every day. And people know people are dying from these drugs, and they still use it. Somehow, we need to get to those people and help them get away from it. It is very sad to see we have babies born to this, and then they have lifelong effects from it. It is very sad to see that. And then the ones that are in the homes, like I said, find it, and then, you know, nobody knows till it's too late. We just need to, everybody needs to step up and help everybody, each other, and show respect no matter how.
Moving on to the next district, District 2. At large. Question number. The app has a commercial, so we have a sponsor timeout. Are they sponsoring us? They should. Question is coming. It's a long commercial. Builds tension, anticipation. It's exciting. It's okay, Erica, you can breathe. I would have prepared more jokes if I, no. Question 4. District 2. The challenger. You said question 2, correct? Question 4. This is wage disparity. Explain how you would address this issue for tribal members. Wage disparity.
Well, you know, it's a tough world that we live in. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I work in a casino right now, and, you know, doesn't matter how well I do my job, I'm getting taxed more than I should, and then I'm taking over maybe a $200 check because of my tips. But then just wages in general, people across the board, you know, we talk about a higher minimum wage for our tribal people versus what the federal government or our local government provide for their homes. Call that the COLA, cost of living allowance. Well, it's kind of hard to give that cost of living allowance when we pay these hierarchy people who are in our tribe the high dollars. And you, the people, our bosses, question that. But we as council members put it on the back burner, in my own opinion. And we don't think about you. That's not the way it should be. It's not about me. It's not about your 10 little Indians or the hierarchy of the administrations. We need to think of across the board. Everybody needs to make an understandable equality of living. We're all struggling. We're all struggling because of those hierarchy people that we're paying. that shouldn't be getting paid the dollars that they're getting paid. If anybody should be getting cut so that we can provide that for our membership, it has to start at the top. No question about it. Because our people matter, and we need to start listening to you, our bosses.
Same question, wage disparity. Explain how you would address this issue for tribal members.
Thank you, Rob. What a great question. A lot of our problems that we have are because we don't have that across the board in our reservation. So how do we fix that? How do we have high-paying jobs for our membership? How do we promote that? And how does that help our families? You know, first thing, if I was a dictator, I would provide free education, college to every tribal member that wanted to go to school. I'd also provide vocational training to every tribal member, because not everybody's meant to go to college. They may be a plumber. They may be an electrician. They may be a mechanic. They may be a welder. They may be, you know, there's a whole collage, heavy equipment operator, of things that are good paying jobs. But part of the issue that we have, if you look at Montana just as our region, and you look at our average wage of our tribal membership and the average wage of everybody else out there, we're down here. We got to bring ourselves up. We got to be able to train our people to have good paying jobs. And that helps with a healthy family. It helps to provide that good paying job. So bringing that equalization of what wages are in our area is really critical for us. And so I advocate all the time for that. Why isn't this institution right here doing more vocational? Why don't we have a buildings trades program for journeyman carpentry? Or, you know, all the other different vocational things just to add to that. And why are our own tribal members having to compete for scholarships that we're financing? And why aren't we having in our different programs that internship, that apprenticeship program, you know, for succession planning, to be able to start that at an early age? You know, part of when we started the River Honoring program was to expose our children to the professional jobs that we had in our natural resource management fields, so that they may be interested in going into that and doing that and seeing other folks, other people of our tribes that are in those professions, role models, whether they're teachers or a hydrologist, they're a forester. It's really important to do that. And all those things in concert lift us to be equal and raise us to a higher standard.
Moving on to our final district. Question 1. District 1. Question 1. The incumbent. 111. The question is, how do we protect the well-being of our drug-affected children? How do we protect the well-being of our drug-affected children?
You know, when I first came on council in 2004, watching over them years and the time, watching these children that are affected by drugs, and this kind of goes with the question that was a little bit earlier about getting them out of these homes. I think the first thing we need to do with these children is the children need to be first. They were dying over drugs. You're finding these kids overdosed. This is a major issue, and it should be at the top of our priorities on our reservation. I've been trying to push for, since 2004, I was pushing for a treatment center here on this reservation so we can get a start to help these people through these issues. First thing we need to do is get these children into a safe place, get them out of these homes, get them where they're safe, then work on these drug addicted parents or whoever they are take care of these kids. It's a real scare, and to me, it needs to be taken care of by law. They've got to do something for the well-being of these children. Somebody has to take care of these kids, because ain't nothing worse than losing a child over this kind of thing that can be helped when they're younger. I really wish that we would have started a treatment center back in the day and had it going right now. We have one of our tribal members, Patricia Hibler, is working on it. They're trying to put a treatment center together in Great Falls. That's a major push, and I hope we can support that, because it's the closest thing we have to home, and it's something we needed here a long time ago. And that's that. What do you say about the well-being of children? That's where it should start. It should be taken care of as quick as we can do that, and to help with the people that are bringing the drugs. Take care of these children.
It's okay, Rob, I got it. That's a great question. If you had a toothache, would you go to an elected official to fix it? If you had a sprained ankle, would you go to an elected official to fix that? So we have drug-affected children. Are we going to go to an elected official to fix that? No. The answer to that question lies in the approach. And as a council candidate, the approach that I would take to that is to first admit that I don't know the answer to that question, but I know who does. It's all of you. Not all of you, but a lot of you. We have a lot of good people that have a lot of expertise in these areas. They need to be reached out to. They need to be brought in. We need to bring in parents. We need to bring in the people that know a lot about drug addiction, that know a lot about the medical effects of that on children, and bring them together and look at the approaches that we can take. An elected official should be steering you in that direction, not saying that I can fix your tooth, I can fix your sprained ankle. No. We need to pull together as people, and an elected official needs to create that opportunity, needs to recognize that we have a lot as tribal people to come to bear on a lot of our complex problems, but they need to be brought in a constructive fashion. That's what we need to do, is take the right approach. We first need to recognize that it's important enough to take the right approach, not shoot from the hip, not just find a solution and say, well, we took care of that, on to the next topic. We need to look seriously at how we address our problems as people, look seriously at the approaches that we take. Something I haven't heard talked about a lot, but you know what 2026 is? It's the 50th anniversary of our path down self-determination. That says that as tribal people, we know best how to take care of tribal people. That means we need to bring that approach of bringing tribal people to bear on these serious problems. That's what self-determination is about, not on the wisdom of one elected official.
Thank you, candidates. That moves us into rapid fire again.
Seventh inning stretch. Now remember, green is red.
What?
Or excuse me.
What? Up is down. Left is right.
Told you I was getting over a cold. Green is yes. Red is no. Should we consider banishment for our worst repeat offenders that inflict physical pain and suffering on our community? Should long-term state and federal inmates be able to vote in our tribal elections? Should we provide more incentive for employee fitness, like more time to work out? Should the tribal government require people to eat healthier? Should homeless people be able to vote even if they don't have a physical address, but they were here? Would you advocate for a drug rehabilitation center here? Thank you. Sorry.
Or you go ahead.
You want me to do that? Okay. Trying to update my Instagram. Hang on. Just kidding. Robert. Give everyone a little chance to get recomfortable again. Does that make sense? We're now into topic C. No break, she said. All right, Erica, we're going on. Topic is Generation Z. The district is Polson. The candidate is the challenger. The question, how will you preserve the homeland for future generations?
How to protect the homeland for future generations?
How will you preserve the homeland for future generations?
Definitely, I think holding on to the lands that we have now and continuing to expand ownership of our land so that we can continue to protect our resources that we have. I think that when our land goes into fee and goes into non-member ownership, we lose control of that. And I feel that we need to continue to keep our land within us. I think that cultural revitalization is important as well. We need to continue our culture, listening to our elders. We need to protect our children, which those are our most precious resources, and continue as a government to really push our sovereignty. I mean, I think that we are a sovereign nation, and we need to hold ourselves accountable to push for issues that are important to our membership and our well-being in our community, to keep our, to preserve our reservation, our culture, and everything in it.
I can repeat if you'd like, Jennifer.
So our name for ourselves is Kelih, which means flesh of the land. So we are part of the land. Culturally, that's how we see ourselves. We are part of the land, and the land is part of us. Our songs come from the land. Our medicine comes from the land. And even if we don't speak the language, and even if there are pieces of our homeland that we haven't walked on, our homeland knows us. Our homeland loves us and blesses us with songs and blesses us with medicine. The animals come to us when we need them still, because the land knows us. And it's our responsibility to protect it. The land is depending on us to protect it. And our tribe was the first tribe in the United States to develop a tribal wilderness area that will never be developed to protect habitat. So being stewards of the land and having a spiritual connection to the land is who we are. And I'm so proud of the fact that our tribe is the first tribe in the United States that has a tribal civics program that's free on the CSKT website. So if we expect people to protect our land and to protect our sovereignty, how are we empowering people to do that? There are some people who don't even know what sovereignty means. And it's one of the most important things that we do on Tribal Council is protecting our sovereignty, our right to govern ourselves. Before the white man came, nobody was homeless. Nobody failed to receive an education, and everybody got their medicine from the land. We were all connected to it naturally. That's our natural state of being. And so we have this really wonderful tribal civics program that the education department created, so you can go on there and learn how anyone can access these materials and educate themselves about important court cases and important information that we can use to defend the land and protect it and to defend our sovereignty. And earlier I mentioned having an apprentice program. I think an apprentice program, we need to find ways to get youth on the land. There are some people whose families don't take them into the woods. And I am just so lucky that my grandma Madeline always told me, she said, remember this about me, Jennifer, remember how much I love these mountains. And it's our responsibility to protect that. And through something like our Tribal Civics program, people can get skills that they need to protect our sovereignty and to protect our land because it's depending on us. Lemlipsh.
Ronan? Challenger? The youth turnout was low in the primary. What would you say to 18 to 25-year-olds who did not vote?
The low turnout of those age voters, I've heard a lot from them, is they say it does not, what council does not affect them. So they don't really know what's going on. They don't look into it. I have told them that what tribal council decides and does affect their lives right now, and it will affect their lives from here on out. There could be decisions for job employment, housing, help with drug addictions that could help them. But they've all said that none of this that we are all here for affects them. So why should they care? But like I said, I've told them they should care because it affects them. And when they have children, it's going to affect their children's whole lives. As soon as they're born, their lives are affected by decisions that are made by this council.
Want me to repeat the question?
Please.
The youth turnout was low in the primary. What would you say to the 18 to 25-year-olds who did not vote?
I would say this has been a lifelong problem from the day I was born, and probably prior to that, age 18 to 24 that had the ability to vote just don't vote. I was one of those people. It didn't make a difference whether I did, but as I got older, I learned that that was a false presumption on my part, that it does make a difference. How I would try to change it, I don't know. Normally we feed. I don't know if you start giving out money. I don't know if it's a difficult thing, but I think the question about transparency and accountability, it's up to the council to make sure that our young people understand, and I think we need to step closer into the school system and start educating at that time. We have a few people from the tribe in the school system, but I don't think we do enough to actually educate our people about what's going on. I know we educate the teachers and try to get them up to speed on what the tribes do, but I don't think we do enough in that arena, and I think it's important that we go to assemblies or do whatever we can to step into schools and let them know this is why there's a difference if you speak up, if you vote, and scholarships, everything from food on the table. Some kids don't even have homes to go to. A lot of them surf, couch surf. And I think if we had a ability to provide maybe even homes to young kids that don't have homes to go to, that would be helpful. And then getting a warm meal, doing homework after school, being able to go to sports, games and things like that, and encourage kids that, yeah, the tribe does step up. It's normally a parent's responsibility, but if a parent's not there to do that, the tribe needs to step up and do their part. And then hopefully the kids start to see a change that will possibly give them hope that the tribe is there and they do need to vote and they do need to, they can make a difference. Thank you.
Jocko? Incumbent? And question 3, how will you preserve the homeland for future generations?
You know, we get really good resources right now. We have we've begun this process, I think, a long time back, and I think it's working. I would just continue to make sure that we take care of everything we have, all our resources for our future generation. We work hard. I listen to Vice Chairman Tom McDonald. He talks a lot about the resources and everything that's happening with us within our tribe, and listening to it, watching it, it's working. Those are the kind of things that are going to set forth our future for generations to come. And I really think that we're on the right track. I would just keep pushing for what we're doing and pushing hard and making it move quicker, getting it to where it needs to be, because the time we're in right now, who knows what's going to happen. You know, this whole thing could turn around. It could change, stop everything. So we need to push as a tribe to make sure we take care of it, take care of the future for our tribe, take care of our resources, take care of our tribe in general, take care of everything that we do, and keep up the good work that our staff, the people that work in this tribe every day, and just keep up the good work. I think we're on the right track.
Want me to repeat, Greg?
No. Homeland. I hear two things in homeland. One is home and one is land. So as tribal people, go to the home side first. Home means it's where you belong. There is a connection to it, okay? So to me, that means that there has to be a preservation of self before you can have that home, okay? So we're currently, what, 1.2 million acres, give or take, and we used to be 10, 15, 20 times that? I would rather see in the future a smaller reservation with people who know who they are, who hold tribal values, who hold that wisdom that's been passed down through so many generations. I would rather see that than a reservation that's 10 times the size that we are, and people who are lost, who have no connection with the past. So homeland begins with home. It begins with who we are as people, and that needs to be preserved. Land, okay, land. In this day and age, preserving land for future generations is an economic transaction, plain, pure, and simple. If we don't own it, if we can't buy it, then in this world, it isn't going to be there. It isn't going to be available. So we need to take a look at it from an economic standpoint. And let me just say this, we're about $300 million a year pumping into this area, and we don't have a tribal economy. We have a non-tribal economy that we feed. We have a non-tribal economy that competes with us and drives up the land prices. So if we're going to do something about going after our land, we need to start with our economy and get control of our economy, and then leverage that into land acquisition. Leverage that into securing the future that we want to do. So we need to preserve who we are, and we need to take seriously where we are today and look at that economic development issue and do something about that in order to secure our homeland for future generations.
Elmo Dayton. Incumbent. Question 2. Describe an issue that is critical for the success of Generation Z, the cohort ages 18 to 25. Describe an issue that is critical for the success of Generation Z, those that are age 18 to 25.
You know, I'm not going to lie, when I was driving up here, I just kept thinking, I sure hope they don't ask me a question about Generation Z. But no, that's a good question. You know, as we all know, Generation Z is that generation that were the ones that were born into the World Wide Web. They were the ones that were more technologically advanced in today's world. I think it's imperative as tribal leaders that we need to engage this generation, because they're going to be their leaders. They're the ones that are going to know, because as we see our world advancing daily, things that are happening daily, now we have this thing called A1, artificial intelligence. And I had a hard time grasping that and figuring out that's going to be running our world. It runs our world today. So I just feel that we need to start making that extra effort to try to get this generation involved in our leadership positions. What that answer is, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but I know it's been a problem. It's been a problem since I've been on council. It's been a problem before I got on council. You know, I want to share a story with you. So, during the primaries, we had another opponent. That was Sakali. Sakali was in that category. He was in that age category, and he had that mindset on what was going to happen in the future. Okay, I sat down with him one day. He asked me, where do you see Elmo in 5 years? Where do you see Elmo in 10 years? And it really got me thinking outside the box. And it's like, wow, this kid really has an interest in our future. And these are the kind of people, and there are many people out there on our reservation that have that mindset. It's just, we need to take that extra effort to engage them, making sure that that their input is just as important in running our tribe as anyone else's, if not more important. So, thank you.
Repeat the question, please.
Describe an issue that is critical for the success of Generation Z, ages 18 to 25.
Did you say successful?
Critical for the success of Generation Z.
Well, I look at the age, I look at who they are, I look at what they're capable of doing today with computers. They're on top of it. Maybe we should give them a job to go get us to Jupiter or something. But we have to install who we are as a nation, who we are as a people. Because if we don't do that, we kind of know their road today, where they're going, what kind of people they are. And it is kind of scary when you have a group of people that's not involved with our nation. They may be involved a little bit here and there, but this group is involved in their schooling, their education. They're the ones that think out of the box. They have it going for them. But that does create a problem when they're our age. What are we going to look like? What are we going to be doing? With that kind of expertise this group is taking on today. Who are we going to be? They're going to be sitting up here with a bunch of robots, talking to each other. So install who they are, where their great-grandparents come from. Why are we here today? The importance of this nation here has to be distributed to that group. Is it in the schools, newspapers, where is it at? What are we doing today about it? We have all these programs again. We have all these, the workforce we have. Any of our programs, are they doing anything about that? I don't know. But it's something to think about, and we have to do it quick. It could be a good thing what they're doing, and it could be a bad thing. You look at it down the road. How is it going to benefit us, or is it going to? But it's something we got to think about. We got to do. We can't wait around. Thank you.
Time. Thank you. The district at large. Incumbent. The question is, how do we repair the disconnect with Generation Z and our culture?
You know, one of the interesting things about youth today is what everybody's been saying is how technology is such a main part of their life. So we need to maximize that as a tool for cultural education. So how can we do that and interest them into that when there's so much noise out there? There's so many. I can't imagine being an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old today, because there's so much, you know, from the vast amount of different drugs that are bad for you, to all the noise on the internet, Facebook and whatever, you know, all that. And there's just so much at them, so many competing things, you know, where they sit at home and sit in front of the TV and do gaming or whatever. Seeing young men that don't go to college anymore. And this is across the nation. But you have to be able to use that as the tool. So we need to do more programming. That means like when I think about youth today, what is the most critical thing for me is like climate change. If I'm an 18-year-old today, what does that mean when I'm 70? Is this going to be a livable place? It's one of the most critical things. So how can we blend in culture into that to bring that as an issue? So a friend of mine, Jermaine, and I wrote a grant called for NASA called Living Landscapes. Where it was talking about climate change and bringing our elders and youth together to talk about the issue. What does it mean? and bringing that together in an interesting format. So that's an example of something that I would want to try to continue to promote, to bring that, to bring it forward. The other thing would be to have more events as far as the landscapes, because we don't create more land. We only have what we have. It's critical we buy everything that we can. But taking care of it and learning how to do that and getting our youth involved all the time, whether it's managing Flathead Lake, giving back to the resources that we're taking, being involved with the language programs, all those things are critical. But anyway, I try to use technology because that's what they're interested. That's what their medium is.
Do you mind repeating the question, please?
Certainly. How do we repair the disconnect with Generation Z and our culture?
Stand up. Make them be inclusive. Make them a part of you. Show them leadership. Show them what true transparency is. Be there for them. Walk the talk. Teach them, show them the way. Sometimes you just need a little insurance, motivation. One of the greatest things I can think about is just knowing the self-worth of a person. And I did it at the Academy for Walmart, teaching numerous people who came to the Academy. And it was something that I'd learned from my grandson, who we raised since he was just a little kid. Now he's 19. And I always told him, look at the mirror. It starts with you. But I'm going to help you in whatever challenges that you face to become successful in whatever you need to do. That's where it starts. Help them to stand up. Help them to put the best foot forward to do the best thing possible for who they're going to become, for their families. Because in my opinion, right now, that's what they're missing with our council. No leadership. No initiative to put their best foot forward. Why? Because you're going to tell me no. So just help them to stand up. Let them know that they count. Because if you're listening live streaming, your vote does count.
Oh, excuse me, we're at rapid fire.
Prepare yourself for rapid fire. Cards ready. Remember, green is yes, red is no. These are all, wait a minute, I got them. Okay, here we go. Is AI bad? Do trans lives matter? Should we consider alternative energy as a tribe? Will you advocate to expand high-speed internet access? Lastly, Should our government do more to address climate change? Congratulations, we've made it through round 3. There, yeah, applause, everybody, please. Yes, that would be fantastic. You're doing great.
My younger, better-looking cousin says I'm doing great. Okay.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
The 4th round topic, CSKT Constitution. The district is Jocko. The first responder is the incumbent. And the question is, do we need a comprehensive CSKT constitutional reform effort? Oh, the microphone is where? Sorry. It's coming. I'll repeat it one more time. Do we need a comprehensive CSKT constitutional reform effort?
Yes, I believe we do. And we need to put some great resources toward this effort to for we're trying to do here. I'm sorry, I just lost track. But we do. I really honestly believe we need an effort to for our people. I'm sorry. And so the quicker the better. You know, I sitting here and listening to everything that's been said throughout tonight. Is everything that's been said has been to better this tribe, to better the effort for everything that's happening within this tribe and what's going to be the future for us. And I say that because I have a lot of family members that are very young and coming in and that are going to be a big part of this, I hope, a big part of this tribal effort to become what they're going to become. And you know, some of these things I don't understand myself because I'm not the college educated person. So I don't understand them a lot, but I know that through listening to the people that I do know that are really well informed with these issues, we need what we can to get for this tribe, and I really believe that I will follow that because I'm looking to for the future of my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren, that it'll be here forever.
Constitutional reform. Hell yes. I was fortunate enough when I was younger to be able to spend a lot of time with my great uncle, Charlie McDonald, who was one of the first tribal councilmen. And he was around when the referendum vote was taken that adopted our existing constitution. First in the United States. But we got duped. We got duped. The Constitution as written, if tribal people understood just what that was going to do, they never would have passed it to begin with. The reason they passed it is because the chiefs were on the council, and there was a connection to the decision-making processes and a connection to the people that was there. That's what was promised, and that's what was delivered in name only. So when those individuals passed on, we went from a council of 10 plus 2 chiefs to the existing council of 10. We've talked a lot tonight about the importance of cultural values. We've talked a lot about what we need to do to preserve our way of life in terms of the language and in terms of our own survival. even our homeland. Looking at it from the standpoint of decision-making as tribal people and putting in place what has been in place for so many years and what the elders expected to be in place when they adopted the Constitution in 1935. We need to move back in that direction. We need to do that as people. It incorporates a decision-making process that involves you as the people. It doesn't just create a legislative body in a tribal council that sits up there and makes all of the decisions. It needs to involve the decision-making process that as tribal people we have always used, which involved tribal people through the chiefs and the sub-chiefs. That's what's important in our survival, is our decision-making that we do. And in order to move forward with that, we need to look seriously at constitutional reform.
Okay, District Ronan, the challenger. The question. 3, Kim? Correct, thank you. The same question. Do we need a comprehensive CSKT constitutional reform effort?
To make changes to the Constitution, I think are well, I should start with, I'm not sure we need to reform it. To make changes to that would be big decisions that could or would affect all the tribal members. And I don't think the group of 10 of the council are the ones to make changes to the Constitution. I think if there are suggestions for changes, then votes like that need to go out to the membership. They need to say yes or no, they want changes to the Constitution. Because what's going to happen to that is going to affect them and their children, because some changes may not work. Some changes may. So with that, I am not quite sure we need to do a constitutional reform, because it could, like I said, it could help, it could hurt the membership.
Want me to repeat?
Please.
Do we need a comprehensive CSKT constitutional reform effort?
When you mention the word comprehensive, I would say no. And this is why I've seen tribes go through constitutional reform. And if you look at some of the tribes that have, and not only were they moving from chaos, but they went deeper into, I think, worse situations, where when they have an election, the whole council's removed, the whole administration's removed. I'm not saying that our people on this reservation would vote for something like that, but unless we have the opportunity to educate our membership to know exactly what they are voting for, it gets to be pretty scary. And I've just watched this on the enrollment issue itself. And I think that people are in tune enough to know what they are voting for. And so I think if you wanted to just give the people an opportunity to vote on a reform, it's scary, but then I think it's the voice back to the people. Constitutional changes are changes by the people. It's not the 10 making those decisions. It's a vote of the people. And I think it gets scary. I know there's a couple of issues that really need to have constitutional reform. One is the Secretary of Interior signatory authority. You take that out, because I think us as a tribe, we make those decisions. We have a legal department that keeps us above the law, and usually when we're entering into an agreement, those are agreements that come together with both sides, legal counsels, and you have the knowledge and the wherewithal of what you're trying to do to make sure it's done properly. But I think there's major changes. Any major changes, I think, would be a huge mistake. But I don't think our people would vote for that, tell you the truth. I mean, I just think it would be up to us to, and when you talk about transparency and accountability, we don't do very good sometimes at providing that information. And I know it's my responsibility as a council member to make sure that gets done. But I also got 9 other people that are there that sometimes don't always agree with me. So, thank you.
Okay, the district is Polson. The responder is the challenger. And the question, name 3 pillars required for improved tribal sovereignty.
Could you say that again, Ruthie?
Name 3 pillars required for improved tribal sovereignty.
Well, I guess educating the membership and all of the council to really what sovereignty means and how important it is to us. The second one would be to administer that sovereignty. I mean, I think a lot of people talk about it and they speak about it, but they don't really turn it into action. And that means when things happen in the community with county governments, state governments, federal governments, that we just don't go with the flow with, oh yeah, we're just one of the tribes. We need to stand up for what our tribe believes in and our sovereignty, and be at the table when they make those decisions to express our sovereignty and to be there for it. So I said education, being there. And I guess educating also the, starting in the schools with what it means. I think that, especially on our reservation, we have Two Eagle, and I think that they really let the kids know about tribal governments. I know they have a civic class. They're the ones that's doing the forum next week, which I think is awesome. I think more of our schools really need to be understanding of what tribal sovereignty means. And I don't think that they teach that, not even in the community, and we just really need to share that and get more community involvement with kids so that it starts at a younger age. Thanks. Sorry, Jen.
Can you please repeat the question?
Certainly. Name 3 pillars required for improved tribal sovereignty.
I think first and foremost is understanding that we are a nation. We are on par with the United States of America. They are a nation, we are a nation. And when you're a nation, you have larger responsibilities than other kinds of governments like cities and states. We are bigger than they are. We're a nation. And I think reaffirming that with the United States is a constant, and reminding the United States of their trust responsibilities. constantly. We cannot let the United States of America shirk on their trust responsibilities to CSKT. And whenever we deal with the United States, it always has to be nation to nation. I think secondly, one of the other pillars of upholding our sovereignty is economic development. We have to hold the United States responsible for what they are owed to us because our land is still occupied. But secondly, economic development so we can do the things that we need to do as a government. This is the system of money that we have now is not our system of government, but we have adapted to it and we have mastered it. And we have some amazing corporations that make money for our tribe so we can provide services for our tribe. But anywhere possible, we have to enhance our economic development so we can continue to provide services to our people. I think third is our mental health. If we are not well, we can't do anything. And so much is tied to our mental health. We talked about our land earlier. So much of my mental health is being on the land. That's my medicine. That's how I heal. That's how I pray, is by being on the land. And so whenever possible, connecting people to the land, connecting ourselves to the land, and doing things that make our hearts strong. That's how we protect our sovereignty. If our hearts are not strong, if our minds are not strong, how can we support our families? How can we be there for each other? How can we be a good, productive member of our tribe? We can't. We have to always find ways to keep our hearts strong, to keep our minds strong, so we can do the work that needs to be done, so we can show up to our jobs, we can show up for our families. So just in summary, holding the United States responsible for their trust responsibilities, always remembering that we are a nation, and economic development, and our mental health and well-being. Lemlepsh.
At large, the challenger. Question, is that to Kim? Thank you. Oh boy. Are there any constitutional reforms you would champion?
Any constitutional reforms that I would champion? Yes. We need to get back to square one. And when I say square one, I always have been to quarterly after quarterly after quarterly. And I spoke for the people, not just for myself. I spoke for my family. I spoke for friends because of things that they thought were not going right, not being addressed, because they're intimidated by these 10 people who aren't being inclusive, not showing any diversity, not showing any culture or traditions. In order to champion the Constitution and the reform, we have to be inclusive as members of council. We have to diversify ourselves to know that each and every individual who's a member of the tribe has a voice. That voice speaks volumes, especially when I refer to the murals that sit behind them in council chambers, the 3 chieftains. It was referred to very eloquently, I believe, of what Greg was saying earlier about those 3 chiefs. But everything from the Constitution has just kind of like spiraled out of control to where we're lost. We've lost ourselves to this, the at-large. How am I to champion that? To let you be involved in that as members of this tribe. not to go in executive session behind closed doors to make a decision without your voice. That's not inclusiveness. That's how I would champion it, letting you be our voices.
You don't have to repeat. I was fortunate to sit on a Constitutional Review Committee nearly 30 years ago. Of course, the same issues are here today as were back then. But we came up with 14 amendments that we presented to Tribal Council. Not any of them made it to the people for a vote through that exercise. But a lot of things came to light that became issues that were really important. And Carol mentioned one that was just right off the get-go, easy for me to champion. Get the Secretary of Interior out of our business. It's our decision. We're our own nation. We don't need Big Brother to tell us what to do or approve every little thing that we do. It's stifling. It's ridiculous. That's the first easy one to do. The Constitution right now states that every tribal member has equal access to all the resources and every activity that we engage in. But you go tell that to my niece that lives in Columbia, Missouri. She doesn't have the right to vote. She doesn't have the right to many of the different things that we provide for every member here on this reservation. She has none of that. So definitely there's certain things in the Constitution that need to be brought forward into policy to make sure that we are following what's there and actually make it even more inclusive. The elections. I'm going to say this. I agree with Sam. Because I believe there is not one man, one vote right in what we have going on right now. When they set this up, when Greg talked about Great Uncle Charlie, they based that council representation on the current populations in our reservation communities. So certain districts had 2 representatives, certain districts only had 1, but it was equal, and you could only vote on your district. Run for your district and vote on your district. You live in the same nation, you couldn't vote on the Polson rep. It's not your district. So if you want district representation, let's have district representation. Let's put that in the Constitution. Let's get it out of the council's decision-making authority and put it in there so we all have the opportunity. You think one day I did the Dixon population and looked at it for how many people could run for office. 25 people that were basically eligible to run. In Ronan that same year, there was 700. How is that equal for all the membership? It's not equal.
The district is Elmo. The responder is the incumbent. Question 1. What is your position on enrollment?
Thank you for the question. And those of you that didn't see that asked for my position on enrollment. As we all know, our enrollment is declining, and that was predicted with the Deward report here that was done some time ago. And so yeah, we need to start taking measures on our options on what we need to do to either maintain enrollment or increase enrollment. And I think we're, you know, when that question first rolled around, and I kept thinking about increased enrollment, one of the concepts that I kept thinking is we can't even take care of the people we have now. Can you imagine if we doubled enrollment? What would, But regardless, if our membership, our descendants, they're part of us. They're us. And I think they need to be included. And I think we need to start looking at ways to change our enrollment, to start including a lot of our people, that because many of these people lived on the reservation all their lives and never been enrolled. So that's that's my take on enrollment. Thank you for the question.
Repeat it to see if I heard that right.
What is your position on enrollment?
My position? Well, my position is, I'm open to a path to enrollment. A path to enrollment. In this, you have over here, we lose, let's just say, just as a number, we'll say we lost 40 in this year. We lost 40 tribal members. Well, let's put 40 on to keep that enrollment number steady, to keep it even. That's a pathway to enrollment. Of course, with that, you would have enrollment committee. We have 3 tribes that we represent, so we'd have three tribes to meet. In those 3 committees, tribes would do their criteria for it. What criteria would be open, would be written down, where if you wanted to get enrolled, you have to do those criteria. You have to learn your language, you have to sweat, on and on and on. You have to prove to this committee that I want to be enrolled. I want to be enrolled. You have to prove it. Who would we go after first? The split family? First generation, second, who would be, in line for this? Well, they use today, the people, the membership they use are people, they count them, they use them for numbers to get a grant. So maybe the people that are low poverty, we'll throw them on first. We'll put them on first. So you can use them for a number. So you can get more monies to help. So an open path to enrollment, I'd be open for that. Thank you.
Rapid fire? Thank you. Final round of rapid fire. You got it. Yep. Oh,
On your feet, please.
we're gonna get it.
This is the final round of rapid fire, and there are 2 written-in questions from the audience. Do the candidates support leave for schooling for their employees? Do you support the Answer the Phone initiative? Yes. Should off-reservation members be able to vote? Do we adopt lineal descendancy for enrollment? Do we include all? No abstaining? You abstain, it's going to get pointed out. Do we include all Indian blood for enrollment? Should we leave enrollment as it is? Should we lower blood quantum requirements for enrollment? Have you read the Constitution?
Please green everybody, right?
Green, green, green. That concludes our rapid fire, and I want to let you know we have audience questions. These are 30 seconds to answer. There are multiple questions, at least two. We're going to start at the very end and work our way down. Second question, we're going to skip one and then all the way down. The timers will flash the yellow at 20 seconds. So 30 seconds goes pretty fast. Do we have the audience questions?
Add one more. I just got it.
Ruthie might have a third one.
Am I going ahead with those audience questions? All right. So first question is from Erica and Arlie. Will you please tell everyone your name, your district, and why you decided you are running for council?
Well, I'm Greg Dumont here. I'm running from the Jocko Valley, or the Arlie district. And the reason I'm running for council is because I have been asked to, and I have been supported by some of the people that I treasure the most. I've dedicated my whole life to working for my tribal people, and this is just the next chapter in that.
Name, district, and why are you running for tribal council?
District is Arlie, Jim Holliter, I'm the incumbent there. I'm running for tribal council because I believe that I can still help the people within the district and within the tribe to get all they can out of it. I really care for the people there. I love the people within the reservation and all the tribal members, and I just hope that I can still help with them. That much.
Carol Langford, Rodan District. I love my people, and I love working hard for them. I don't always, I'm not always able to do everything I promise, but I work hard and I try to get the answers. And when I have to tell you no, it hurts, but I'm able to do that just because I think it's important people know, what to expect, and always care for my people for sure.
I'm Ron Couture for the Ronan district. I'm running for council because I was asked by some people in my district if I was. At the time, I didn't know, but I finally said yes because I want to. I've heard a lot of people say it's time for change. I want to hear what the people want to change so I can help the people, be here for the people.
Good evening, Junior Kayai. The reason I'm running for council is because I care for my people, I love my people, and I know that I can do and I will do a hell of a job. I love my people so much, I know, and I love the government aspect of this. And I know that people are out there, they're crying for help. And I want to help them people. I know I can do that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. My name is Len Tuteeth from the Elmo District. Why do I want to continue to run for council is I've been on council for 12 years. I believe I have a true understanding of how the government works and how our tribal organization works. And I believe that I'm able to help the membership maneuver around for access to services within it. But I just really love the idea of helping our people. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. My name is Sam Barnaby, and I'm running for the St. Ignatius at Large District. I'm running because of Skedli, Kaketwitnam. They spoke to me in visions and dreams. The time has come. Our voices are going to be heard. Your voices. Get out and vote. Sam Barnaby for at large.
Tom McDonald, at-large candidate, incumbent. First, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I was asked to run again by numerous people. I believe I have more to offer. I've given my whole career, life of service to the tribes and the resources. I care about our people, our land, and our water, and want to make things better for the future. Thank you very much.
My name is Jamie Pluff, and I'm running for the Polson District. And I believe that the membership really needs to be a part of everything that goes on. I think that I am a person who will listen to you, truly listen to you, and take it back to the council for consideration, and also to the employees are important too, and we need to listen to what the employees as well have, because it's not the tribal council against the people.
Jennifer Finley, Polson District. Every single tribal member, every single person who works for the tribe, every single person who doesn't work for the tribe, every single tribal member has an important purpose for the tribe and has unique and special skills that they can use to benefit all of us. Every single one of us matters. And I want to use my skills to benefit the tribe and what I know and what I know how to do. I've never abused drugs or alcohol, and I always show up for work and I do my job. Lemlemsh.
Next question comes from Savannah out of Pablo District. She says, many young tribal members love our home, but feel we have to leave to get opportunities. What will you do to bring opportunities here so our next gens can grow, work, and raise families at home?
Well, I think we're on the road to do that now. We're doing all the skills at the college. The college is bringing everything in their teaching of the students there. We got all the trade schools, and I think that's a very important part. Is this trade school is going to teach people how to do a job that they can do here and take off and make a living for their family. And I think that's the most important issue is wherever.
Thank you. That's your time.
Sorry, guys, these ones are only 30-second answers. Sorry. I'll repeat the question. Many young tribal members love our home, but feel we have to leave to get opportunities. What will you do to bring opportunities here so our next gens can grow, work, and raise families here at home?
Well, this institution, Salish Kootenai College, has a lot of opportunity, and I think more people need to take advantage of it. And I think the way to do that is provide no interest, low interest loans instead of an interest rate that goes into the future, and then you can't afford things. So people get deeper and deeper in debt. So I think it's important that we do that. I also like the trade idea too. I think we're doing that now, but we need all the trades: plumbing, electrical, all those.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Many young tribal members love our home, but feel we have to leave to get opportunities. What will you do to bring opportunities here so our next gens can grow, work, and raise families at home?
For these young people that love our home, we need to make sure that we have the opportunities for them. There are tons and tons of very smart, educated, talented young people. We need to make sure those opportunities are open for them, and wages. Give them a wage that they can live on and raise their family here. And then they, hopefully they don't have to leave.
Yes, we as people, as council administrators, we really push education to the fullest. We do a lot for them. So when they're out there getting the education, you better believe it, I'll stand up for them people to come home. I'll find a job for them. Whatever it takes. There's people that retire, but anyway, yeah, I'll stand up for them. We have to.
I think one of many solutions is to require our 8+ corporations to provide a plan to start recruiting tribal members. As we all know, many of our corporations, most of them are employed, or most of them have non-members employed by them.
Educate ourselves as tribal council members that you are our bosses. And in order for us to succeed, you have to help us succeed. And if we're not doing our job right, come and let me know, because that's how it's going to get corrected.
Repeat the question? No, I'm just joking. You know what we need to do is create jobs, right, for our people. So I would be buying every business that's profitable, trying to operate that way, looking for new opportunity in agriculture. We buy as much land as we can. We have farming operations. We have value-added products from our timber resources. Whatever it is, whatever we have, we need to use it to the fullest extent to provide jobs for our young people.
I think that we have a lot of qualified young people, and I personally know somebody that has been wanting to come home, and he's very highly qualified, but has not been allowed. I think that we seriously need to stop the nepotism, stop picking who we want to go into jobs, and follow the policies that we have, because we have people that are qualified, and those young people have a lot to offer us. So I think that that's what we need to do.
Let's look at tribal student loan forgiveness for people who come back and work for CSKT. And also, CSKT desperately needs a property management division. So we can create dignified, affordable housing for workers, not just low-income people, but people with higher incomes, because the inventory here is almost non-existent. We need places for people to come back and live with dignity. Our people deserve the highest level of housing, dignified housing.
One of the proudest moments of my 50 years service was creating a bunch of jobs for tribal people right here in a reservation out of absolutely nothing. No natural resources, nothing other than what we could think about. That's SNK Technologies, an IT and aerospace company. If I could build that 25 years ago, as a kick-ass Salish and Kootenai tribes, we can do any damn thing we want worldwide for our kids.
All right. We had so many questions come in, it was hard to figure out what do we even put out here. So thank you guys, everyone, for submitting your questions. Sorry we can't get to all of those. We've got one more question, and then we'll have some time for a meet and greet. But let's go on to the next question. It comes from Sam from Arley. How big of a role do you feel the Culture Committee should have in council decisions?
Currently, our Culture Committee is an advisory group, and I believe that's probably something that could be a little more incorporated into the council, so we have more decisions based on culture and tradition. And so I think that's an important part of it. I went to an elders meeting today, and by the grace of God, Martin always reminds me that it's time to go. But yeah, I think it's very important that we listen to our elders.
I think it's huge for the culture committees to be involved in the tribal council. They need to be involved, and they need to be heard. I think they sometimes feel that they're listened to, but they're not heard. Answers or questions are asked, suggestions are given, and then it's just swept under the carpet. So they feel like they're not being heard, but it is huge for them to be involved.
What was that question again?
How big of a role do you feel the Culture Committee should have in council decisions?
How big of a what?
A role
Role.
Role.
How big of a role? Well, you look at the org chart, you have the council and you have the culture committees right beside them. So that should say a statement right there. Very involved in decisions. That's why they come to the culture committees to ask and present, and you get answers from them. But take them more serious. Thank you.
Can you repeat that, Danielle?
Yes, how big of a role do you feel the culture committee should have in council decisions?
I believe in the past, the council has looked to both culture committees as an advisory group on some of the most important projects that have been on the reservation. And not only the culture committees, but all of our disciplines, our natural resources disciplines and others. But yes, they're extremely important, and we do listen to what they have to say.
I believe the culture committees on both ends are very, very important because that's who we are. But we shouldn't sidestep them and ignore them and just do what the 10 little Indians want to do without taking into serious consideration of what they've said. Their words count.
Current situation with the culture committees is that they're advisory. When we were in the Constitutional Review Committee scenario 30 years ago, what we promoted at that point in time was to mandate a representative from each culture committee to be present at every council meeting and to provide advice at the moment when there wasn't unanimous decisions. So if there was difficulty in council making a decision, right then, live, they could go right to a couple of representatives from each committee and ask for the assistance.
I can follow up on that because that's kind of what I was going to say. When we go back to traditional government, as remember somebody said, we had chiefs and that were part of that. Right now, council members go to the elders committee meetings each month sometimes, and sometimes the departments go and inform them about what's going on. We need north and south representatives at council meetings every day that they can go back to the culture committees and inform them about what's going on.
There are so many people in our tribe, especially young people, who are desperate for culture, who really need a sense of belonging. I would like to see the council empower the culture committees more to go out into the community more, increase their budgets, and give them more staff to do more community outreach, to bring the language to more people, to bring the culture to more people, because that's what people are really desperate for. That's what's going to help people's hearts. Lemlepsh.
Well, we have no checks and balances in our Constitution. So what I would propose is that our elders, which is the closest things that we have to chiefs, our elders committees actually have veto power over what the tribal council does. That would require the tribal council to have a supermajority, almost unanimous, in order to get anything done.
Next.
Yeah, Loveland. I've known these elders, these culture committees for years and years, and even when I wasn't on council, I've listened to them for years. I love every one of them. I believe that they are in their positions as highly rated to advisory committee for us, for the tribal council. They will tell us what we need to do. This lady won't leave me alone.
Get you a headlock.
All right, you guys.
answered it.
That wraps up our questions for the evening. Can we give a round of applause to the candidates this evening? a round of applause for our moderators, timekeepers, video people, everybody that helped put this on. Thank you, guys. So, and thank everyone for coming out tonight and everyone that's watching online. So please encourage your friends and family to go vote with you Saturday, December 13th, or Monday through Friday at the Vern Claremont Building here in Pablo from 7 to 5:30. What? Monday through Thursday. If I said Monday through Friday, I apologize. So you can vote absentee Monday through Thursday at the Vern Claremont Building here in Pablo from 7:30 to 5 p.m. between now and December 11th. We do value your feedback, so if you're online, please leave comments on there. And if you've got some feedback, get in contact with Erica. We'd love to improve. This is our second forum that we've put on, so we're learning, so thank you for working with us through our technical difficulties tonight for our online viewers. If you need help with voting or need a ride, Erica Shelby, her number is 406-240-8229. I'm going to say that again for our people online, 406-240-8229. We also have Two Eagle River School staff here, or she was here earlier. I don't see her anymore, but they would like to invite you to the forum that they're hosting Tuesday, December 9th, just down the road at the high school from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And we do have a little bit of time left here in the building. We have until 9 o'clock, so if the candidates would like to stay and meet and greet you guys that are out here, if you guys have additional personal questions for any of the candidates, we have the space until 9. So thank you guys for coming, and everybody get home safely and happy voting. Thank you guys.
Both YouTube and Facebook.